Hello friend, welcome back. Lot of students asked me about it. Recently, image intervention package is converted to the version 3. That means 2 version is not working. So for that reasons, you may get some of the issue. So now in this video, I want to discuss about how can working with the image intervention 3 in Laravel. And as you already know, image intervention is used for resizing that images, which is very important one of the part. Okay, with this package, we can do this work. Right now, if you go to that image intervention official website, and here you can see there is a version as a 3 and 2 version as the end of life. Okay, that means that is not executed right now. So right now, I want to discuss about how can working with the version 3. So if you already installed that version 2 before, you can also remove it. In that case, we have to remove it as a composer remove intervention image. Then your existing, if you already installed the 2 version, you can remove it by this. Or if you already install it, if you go to that installation. So right now, if you install image intervention as a composer required intervention image, by default that will be installed as a version 3. Like I show you here, I have already run one of the project. Here if you go, that is one of the project. Okay, so into this project area right now, if you go to that project source code, and into the source code, if you go to that composer JSON, and into the composer JSON, you can see I have already installed that intervention image 3.1. Because as I told you, by default now that will be installed the 3.1 because 2 version is not exist. Okay, so that is the reasons by default that will be installed that image intervention 3.1. Okay, so here you will actually get that things I have already installed it. So better I want to do in particular that project area. First of all, I want to remove it. That means I want to remove that image intervention package. So into the image intervention here, if you go to that vendor, into the vendor, that should be also another folder as the intervention. Okay, so when you remove it, that will be also removed. And in previous, I have already discussed about that things with you. If you already installed that image intervention 2 into the config in our app.js, you may have add some of the aliases, and also you may add some of the provider. Right now we don't need to add anything. If you already add any provider for the image intervention, simply remove it from to the provider and also remove it from to the aliases. That will be not needed for the image intervention 3. Okay, so first of all, I want to better remove it. Here if you want to remove it, like I want to make it from to the beginning, I want to remove that composer remove intervention image. Now I want to go to that our project. So that is actually one of the LMS project. Okay, for education purpose, I want to use this project here, and into this project area here only you have to write down as a CMD, and you can see that is our CMD. I have already run it, our PHP addition serve. That is the reasons our project is now successfully running. Right, that is one of the project. And into this project area, if you go to that add category, they have the 2 things. One will be as a category name, another will be as a category image. So our process will be just like that same, but only I want to discuss about how can deal the image resize right now with using that image intervention 3. Okay, so that is the reasons I want to do here. First of all, I want to remove it. I have already installed that intervention. So if you want to remove it from your project, you can remove it by the composer remove intervention image. Now click as enter. Now that should be removed everything. Okay, here now that should be everything removed. This may take little time. Here you can see it's not totally done. So here it's now successfully removed all that your unnecessary file for the installation. Now if you go to your project, and if you go to that your composer, okay, here if you go to that our composer JSON, and here you can see there is an image intervention is not available. Right here, image intervention I have already removed it. And also if you go to that your vendor folder, and into the vendor folder you can see intervention, that is they have one of the folder, and now that is totally gone. So right now I want to start it from to the beginning. Here I want to now install that image intervention 3. Okay, so if you want to do this work, we have to go to that our image intervention, and into the image intervention package, that is our right now version as a 3. I want to go to that installation, and into the installation, first job is you have to understand that your PHP version. So right now I'm using that localhost XAMPP, and my XAMPP version I'm using as 8.10 2.4. Okay, so make that sure that should be equal or greater than from to the 8.1. So that is the most important one of the things. And after that, I want to install it again. Okay, I copy it. I want to install it via the composer. So here I copy that our total code. Now I want to install it. That is in our project area. Now I want to install. Now click as enter. Now that will be downloaded everything from to the internet again, and now that will be reinstall your total image intervention in your project. Okay, now it may also take little time. Here you can see perfect. So now that is also now again successfully installed that image intervention 3, and you can see it's now successfully visible as using the version as a 3.1. Now if you go to that your project, and again if you go to your composer JSON, and you can see now I have already installed that intervention images, and now I'm using the 3.1. Now with this version I want to insert that image, and before when you use it as image intervention 2, as I told you, into the configure area in our app.php, here before we have to use some of the providers, we have to also use some of the aliases. So in 3 we don't need anything. Here I have already installed it. That's all. Okay, here now I want to use it. Like if you go to that our controller in our backend, that is one of the category controller. Okay, so into the category controller that have also one of the code. So this code I have used it for the image intervention 2. Okay, when you install that image intervention 2, then that is all that our code that will be executed. But right now I have already updated, I have already installed that image intervention 3. Now I want to also update for the 3. Okay, now let's do that work. For doing this, like right now I have already installed the 3, right here. If you go to that our package JSON again, into the composer JSON, I am using that 3. Now if you want to insert some of the image, you will get this type of one of the error. Like here I want to make it as a test, and I want to choose one of the image. Like here for education purpose, I want to choose this image. Now click as a save changes. You may get this type of one of the error. Okay, so as I told you, I have already installed the 3, so that is the reasons that will be not executed. That is one of the code for the image intervention 2. So now I want to replace that code. Here what exactly I have done, if you go to that our category controller, before simply I get that our requested image, that means whatever the image you will be selected, right, whatever the image you will be selected from to this position. So that is actually our field name, and our field name here I name it as a images. Then I created one of the hexadecimal unique ID, and then I get that image client original extension. That means if you upload some of the images as a .png, then that will be get that as a .png. Okay, so this type of one of the things. And also before I use it as a image, make the resize your wide and height, and then that will be uploaded in our upload category folder. Right, so and then in our database area I have also saved it in the database that will be uploaded in our category. So it will be saved it by this name with our generated name, and then I inserted that our category data in our category table by this model as a category. They have the category name, our requested category name, requested category slag that will be generated one of the slag, and also that is our images, and this images means that is our database field name. Here if you go to that our database, I have already created this database. Like if you go to the database for this project, I am using that is student 1, and here that is actually our categories, and into this categories you can see there is a field name as a category name, category slag, and that is our image. And if you go to that our input field, that means our blade page as a add category, here also I want to share that things with you, then everything will be very clear. Like if you go to that in our public, sorry, into the not public, in our resources, in our view, and that is in our admin, and into this admin there is a backend and category. So right now only I want to go to that our add categories. Into the add category, what exactly I have done, simply I created one of the route, they have one of the NC type multi-part form data, everything will be just like that same. And here you can see there is a field name as a category name, and that is our field name as the image. So whatever the images you will be selected from here, now that will be get that our requested file as an image. Okay, so I hope you get the idea. Before, I have already done these things for the image intervention 2. Now I want to work for the image intervention 3. So here, if you want to do this, we have to go to that image intervention. Right now we are using the 3, and here if you go to that introduction, and into the introduction, first job is now we have to use both of these. One is the image manager, another is the GD and then driver. Okay, so I simply copy both of these. Now in our project, that means in our controller, category controller, right now we don't need to use that as an image. Here I want to simply remove it, and here I want to use another 2 of these. That will be as an image manager, and that will be another as a driver. So right now after that is our store category. Now here I want to do to update, so better I want to also refer this code. I only want to do after that. Okay, here after that I want to simply add one of the if condition. That will be on the if condition. I simply added the condition. So condition will be the same here. I want to do if it successfully get any images, that means a requested. So by this requested, it will be get that our field name, that is the input field name, I name it as image. So whatever the image you will be selected, it will be actually get that image. So if there have any image, it means here if you select any image, right? So that is actually our image. If you select an image, then you have to do, if you go to again, okay, here if you go, then you have to create one of the image manager for the desired driver. Okay, here you have to take it, I copy it, and now after that I want to simply call it. Okay, and now our next process will be same. That is our previous code. I want to also get some of the references from here, then that will be helpful. Here I copy it and then I simply paste it. So now that will be generate. I take one of the variable as a name generate. It will be created on the hexadecimal unique ID, and then that will be our images. Images will be which one? Here I want to pass it. I want to pass that our requested file image. Okay, here I simply pass it our requested file image, and that will be our get client original extension. That means whatever the things will be added, it will be get that as a .png, .jpg, this type of one of the things. Okay, so now after that here, that is another one. Before I have used it as an image, that is a images resize with the save, that will be saved in our public category, right? So this type of one of the things. Now here I want to change it. Here in that case we have to do better. I take another variable as an image, and image will be which one? Here I have already get that create our extension. Now I take it by this manager. Now that will be with this manager. And now with this manager here we have to call here. If you go with this manager, we have to call that our read function. So that will be as a read image from to the file system. So okay, here you have to call it. I simply call it again. So that will be as a manager, and then there is a read function, and read will be which one? Here it will be get that our whatever the requested file you will be uploaded. You have to simply pass it. You can also take another variable as per your demand. By this you can actually also pass that our total things. Like here you can also take another as a take image. I take one of the variable as a take image. Okay, take image will be which one? That will be our requested file name. That means that will be your take image. So from here you can actually take it. You can also pass that variable in particular that area. Okay, so that will be also the same things here. Only now we have to actually call that read. So I hope you get the point better. Right now we don't need it. I want to close it, and I want to simply get that our requested image. Okay, that will be our requested file as a image file. So here now we have to call that read function. Now that is how we started, that is ended. Here that will be another one, right? So that is actually started, and that is ended, that is started, that is ended. So here make that sure you have to load it, that is a read. And now after that we have to resize it. Before I have already used it as a resize by the wide height. Right, so now if you want to do this work, that is actually our image. Now I want to take another variable as image, and image will be which one? Here I want to use that as image, and that is the image that will be as a resize. Okay, the resize. So that will be as a resize, and then you can actually use it as a height and weight. I want to use it as a height and weight. That will be as a 370 and 246. Okay, now after that here that will be save this data, and now want to simply use it. So now with this image, okay, now with this image, you have to call it. We have to call it another function as a 2jpg. Okay, peg, that will be the 2jpg, and here you have to assign some of the quality. Like I make that quality that will be as a 80, and then after that I want to save it. I want to save it in our which place. I want to save it in our base path. So that will be as a base. Okay, that will be the base underscore path. And into this path means here I have already created one of the folder in our public, and that is in our upload folder, that is our category folder. Here now I want to save it. Okay, so that is the reason here I have already created this folder. Now I only want to do that will be, I want to simply copy it. Now first of all, that will be as a public, okay, public folder, and then that will be our upload folder, and then that is our category folder. Now after that category, that will be generated whatever the name I have actually created. So now that will be simply added that our generated name, that will be as a concatenation, and then that is our generated name. Okay, great. After that, that will be the semicolon, and now also I want to save it. Before I save it like that way, so that will be also just like that same. Here I take one of the variable as a save URL, and into the save URL, that means that will be saved into the database as a upload folder, category folder, and that will be our generated name. Okay, and great. So that's all. Here we successfully done this job. Now after that, that is our category inserted. Now we have to take it, whether I copy it, and now in our if condition area here I want to paste it. You can also use some of the else in here, but right now it's totally fine. Okay, that is our and if. I make it as a and if condition. Okay, and rest of everything will be same. Here it should be displayed on the notification as a category inserted successful. Alert type will be success. It should be returned redirect to our all category page. That's all. Okay friends, so that's all for the image intervention 3. Now that should be stored this data in our upload category folder with the resize by the 370 and 246. Okay, and also it should be displayed the data in our category table by the category name, that's category slag, and that will be our image. Image will be saved. That is actually our image. Okay, so now let's check this out. If you click as a save all, and now I want to go to that our project. Here right now I want to refresh it. Okay, that is also one of the missing, like there is a driver here. If you go to that our code, here you can see there is a if condition. That is one of the first bracket is missing. So that is the if condition that is started, and that is our images. Okay, here actually they have some of the first bracket missing. Now if you click as a save all, and now I want to check it again. Here if you refresh it, you can see now that is successfully loaded our add category. So right now our database is totally empty, and also our folder is totally empty. Now let's check this out. If you want to choose any image, here I want to go. Okay, here I want to name it as a test 1 or category 1. Okay, I name it as a category 1, and also I want to choose one of the image, like education purpose. I want to choose this one. Now click as a save changes. You can see there is a category inserted successfully, and also now that is our category image is visible, category name is visible. Here if you go to that our database, now that should be stored. Yeah, you can see it's successfully stored that our category name is successfully generated, that our category slag, and that is our uploaded category, and that is our specific unique ID code. Right, that means image unique ID, and that is our dot extension. Great. So how to do this work, I hope it's very clear. And if you go to that our folder, and you can see that a new image is successfully inserted, and if you put your cursor, our expected ratio as a 370 and 246. So how to do this work, friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. Okay, here if you want to add another one, I click as add category. I name it as a Aryan, and that will be, I choose another image. For education purpose, choose it. Now click as a save changes. There is a category inserted successful. There is another image is inserted successful. Okay, here how to insert some of the data with using that image intervention 3. Now I hope it's very much clear to you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.